Feeling ducky for a dark horse? MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, bringing you my previews and predictions for 2018. We are making our way through the worst conference in the Power 5, at least in 2017, the Pac-12. And this is a program that Chip Kelly built. Let's not argue about that right now. But in regards to elite status, Chip Kelly built. Mark Helfrich maintained it for a little while, went to a national championship game, and it started to falter. Willie Taggart, not around long enough to prove anything there in Eugene. All right, Mario Cristobal gets his first Power 5 job. Did well in his first stay after one bad season out the door. All right, it's all about Justin Herbert to start. Very intriguing player to me. He's got all the NFL potential, credentials. He's going to be a top 5 to 10 pick in the draft, barring anything severe happening in 2018. He went 6-2 as a starter, 6-1 in the regular season. We'll give him a bit of a pass in the bowl game against Boise State. He was awfully rusty at that point. 68% completion percentage, can make all the throws on the field, really impresses people. I have honestly not watched a ton of Justin Herbert live action watching the game. Saw him a little bit against Nebraska. I remember that game in particular, but Oregon faded out of sight. No reason to watch the Ducks last year. 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay, he had no bad games. He also didn't play any good defenses. Check out the game log. Royce Freeman, powerful, NFL-style back, gone. What did he bring to the table? Well, he was a workhorse. 6,400 yards, 64 touchdowns, tons of inexperience behind him. All right. Tony Brooks-James, 500 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. He comes back. Darian Felix as well after 30 carries in 2017. Bama grad transfer. Dallas Warmack and 4 returning starters along the offensive front bring hope to the Oregon the offense that they can open up the game for their playmakers on the outside and, of course, keep Justin Herbert clean. 5 of the top 6 wide receivers come back. You've got Dylan Mitchell. He caught 42 and 4 touchdowns. Johnny Johnson, 21 catches, 1 touchdown. Brendan Schooler, 20 receptions, 3 touchdowns. So not the primary guys, but basically they mix it up. They throw it around. They use various people, and they keep the guys fresh. Tabari Hines, an interesting pickup from Wake Forest. He really impressed me down the stretch. I caught Wake a number of times down the stretch. Tabari Hines ripping up defenses with John Wolford on the other end. 53 catches, 7 touchdowns. So he works into the mix as well. Tight end Jacob Breland caught 5 touchdowns on only 18 receptions. It's an offense that could explode. All right, defensively, what is most important here is Jim Leavitt runs the defense. This guy was a tremendous coach at South Florida and a better defensive coordinator in what he's done at Colorado and now at Oregon. Exceptional. This defense ranked at number 119 in the nation in the advanced metrics. Then he got there and they went all the way up to 61. 58 spots up in the S&P Plus. They did give up a lot of big plays, though, but they forced big plays as well. Okay, this defense is about as on the border, on the fence, as you can imagine any defense being. They have about 5 or 6 tremendous playmakers, NFL-type players. They're also very, very thin. They cannot afford injury, and they need their playmakers to be huge. It starts with linebacker Troy Dye, 107 stops, 14.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Lamar Winston Jr. up front as well with 8 tackles for loss, and you've got the senior in Justin Hollins with 11 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks. The defensive line is extremely thin, but they've got one guy who is amazing in Jalen Jelks. Okay, don't get hurt, Jalen. We need you. Oregon needs you. For a big season. He is off to the NFL after this season. 15.5 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. He's a huge player. All right, tons of freshman defensive backs, but they are highly rated. So you've got the quandary of, okay, we've got a bunch of freshmen that we need to play significant time, not necessarily start, but they're highly rated and they're big-time talent. Okay, the guys that come back include, you've got Hugo Amadi with 4 interceptions last season. Thomas Graham had 62 stops and 3 interceptions, and Diomordor Lenore is a tremendous talent as well. Okay, the schedule, non-conference, is a joke. Bowling Green, Portland State, San Jose State, 3-0. Got to be 3-0. If we're thinking playoff, if we're thinking Pac-12 only, then of course it doesn't matter. But get off to the 3-0 start. Okay, there's no USC on the schedule. Stanford and Washington at home. Of course, two very difficult games against two teams that are projected to be better, to be more solid, to be more talented. In Washington's case, in Stanford's case, just a better unit in all categories across the board in regards to consistent play and what's expected and what's been determined in the past and based on the track record. But I say Oregon wins one of those two games. That puts them in the mix for the Pac-12 North Division Championship. They win one of those two at home. They do have to go to Utah, and I'm really high on the Utes as well. This team is going to come close to a Pac-12 North Division Championship. You're going to have to see what I project from Stanford and Washington, because I've got Oregon going 10-2. Yes, that's 10 wins and 2 losses, 7-2 in the Pac-12. Those are my thoughts on the Ducks. All right, right here on Mark Rogers TV, below in the description section, you see the Amazon shopping links. Please use those. You don't have to buy the products. More importantly than that, your comments, your prediction on Oregon football. It's an intriguing dark horse team, and we'll see what the Ducks have for us in Mario Cristobal's first year in Eugene. Right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.